Yo, what's going on, guys? Before I get started with the actual video, I added on to it. So after the video ends around 14 minutes, but there's more to it. So stick around, because after 14 minutes, I'm going to say my, God bless, whatever. But there's still more to it, so keep on listening. I had to cut and paste, but I would definitely want to add this to the message or whatever, and I didn't feel like recording a brand new video. So y'all take it easy. God bless. What's going on YouTube, Gen X? I wanted to respond to a video Willie Pete did a couple days ago. Fuck that light skin bitch. That's the title of the video. Speaking on the whole Lolo Jones thing, and I may share my thoughts on that, but I think a lot of people have been spot on with that. But anyways, in that video, he had mentioned his frustration with certain brothers who are on that tip about I could, have biracial kids and still have black kids. Me and my boy, we've been on that tip for a while in terms of the problem in that, right? Because Willie P focused on the whole reorganizing the race in terms of the whole beauty standard, which I 100% in agreement with. Once again, if you're black and Asian, you're not winning any Miss Asia beauty contest. You're just not. It is what it is. Vanessa Williams looks better than 95% of most white women because she has features that are white, but she's not winning any white beauty contest, right? So it's a fucking issue. When you look at self-esteem, it is an issue. Even when you look at black men, we understand that we still consider biracial, men who have black image to be black, but in terms of winning, right, Mr. Black Male, Boris Kojo's not going to win that shit. It's going to be your Omar Epps of the world. It's going to be your Idris Elba. It's going to be your fully black men that are going to serve as a representative for the ideal black male form. It is what it is. We'll throw LeBron James in there or whatever. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to use Jason Kidd. Even though he's black and even though women may find him attractive. We're not going to use Shaman Moore, even though he's considered to be a black male. It just doesn't fit in. But for black women, that hasn't been established, and because of that, you guys do have an identity issue and a self-esteem issue because of that. So yes, I understand where he's coming from with the whole need to rearrange the race. For me, I want to speak to his comments over, brothers not understanding that. And for me, I grew up with a whole bunch of biracial kids, and most of them consider themselves to be black. So I see where the brothers are coming from. And for whatever reason, it was more guys than girls. I don't know why that happened, but it was just more guys. So they all look like Doc Rivers, some Austin Rivers. Y'all look him up. They all look like, Jason Kidd, right? So I grew up with these cats, and they definitely identified as black. So I see the whole, well, I'm having biracial kids who consider themselves to be black. But I think what brothers are missing out on is the idea of what happens when your kids have kids. So what happens when you start to get grandkids? Because I'm old enough now to see some of my biracial friends who are older who are having kids. Some of them are married, some of them are not, but I'm seeing their kids because I'm going out and I'm seeing them with their kids. Just recently I ran into my older sister's homeboy who's biracial, and he was with his son. The son was like 11 or 12, right? And I'm like, wow, the son doesn't look black at all. But before we get there, here's the problem. So even though you have biracial kids who identify as black, what about your son? See, it's weird. Your biracial chicks, right, a lot of the times they end up still dealing with black men. Why? Because their father is black. They were told that they're black, so even though the other dudes, the white boy or the Asian boy, whoever, may have found them to be attractive, when it comes time to serious relationships and dating and marriage, you're still the black girl. So when you combine those two, the fact that they do have an identifiable black father So they know what it means like to be a responsible, or what it looks like to be a responsible black male, and the fact that society still says you're a black woman, you're still that quote unquote black bitch or whatever. They still end up fucking with black men. It is what it is. Only a small handful actually leave. And it's funny because the ones that do leave, they tend to be the ones that are like that upper class, I don't want to say wealthy, but upper middle class. But they got the total white package, so they got the total Vanessa Williams package. I've seen some of it happen before. So they're still black, but she's so close to white that the parents are just going to fucking allow it. And on the opposite end, right, you know, you got your chicks who are quote-unquote biracial to the same degree, but they didn't get the sort of Vanessa Williams package, so they don't have the hair, the nose, the eyes, right? They fucking with brothers 100%. So that's okay. But when you look at the sons, here's the problem for your brothers who think like, oh, I'm still good. Even if they identify as black, once again, the biracial dudes I grew up with, all of them identified as black. But when it came down to who they're having kids with, it was white or Hispanic. That's it. Now, I'm talking about over 15. When I think about the brothers I know, my younger brother knew, my older sister knew, even the cats that I run into now that I did not know before. Some of them I went to college with. Only one that I know of. Only one ended up having kids with a black chick. I'm not even talking about who they're dating with. I'm talking about who they have kids with. So I look at their kids, and what's the likelihood of their kid, so your grandson identifying as black and therefore acting as a black male? It's gone. I'm seeing some of these kids, and I'm like, I would love to see you next to your grandfather. It's like Justin Bieber, right, having Shaquille O'Neal as his grandfather, or having like Idris Elba as his grandfather. So y'all can't sit here and tell me that they're going to identify as black. See, that's the problem. Eventually, it's going to come to a point where the phenotypical evidence of blackness is going to be gone. It's going to be gone. Even if they know I have black in me, and because of the one drop rule, oh, I'm black, that shit's going to be gone, and they're going to fight it. Because after you're long and gone, I can guarantee you what's going to happen. They're going to realize that, damn, I may be better off as white, so I guarantee you they're going to try to pass. I had a conversation with my Hispanic homie. He talks about this shit already happening with them. Well, they have Hispanic blood in them, right? You know, their great-grandfather or their grandfather had married a white chick, but over some generations, they realized that life was better being white. So they passed for white, even though from a, genotypical standpoint, oh, they got some Hispanic in them. So they're not pure white, but fuck it, I'm going to pass because my life is better off. I may even change my fucking name. So I may drop the Hernandez and Garcia and pick up something else. That shit is real. That shit does happen. People change their last names. You know, I had a classmate back in the day that told me, right, a lot of people he knew that came over, and he's African. When they came over, they changed their names because they wanted to drop the African last name. Like, so the whole name change shit happens. People change their last names because they want to somehow remove certain trace evidence of their family background. So I guarantee you, you're going to have, grandchildren who are going to look closer to white. And if you live long enough, you're going to see your great-great-grandchildren, or at least the ones that were had by the sons and the grandsons or whatever, who are going to look more white than anything else. And there's going to come a point in time where it's just like, I'm better off white. No one looks at me and says, hey, you have some black in you. Like, no one is looking at me and saying that. But my last name's a giveaway. And I have this African last name, or I have this last name that's right, that stereotypically seem to be black. Fuck. I'm going to change my name up. So it's lost. Whether you like it or not, it's lost because, once again, even though your son, your biracial son, identifies as black, he is not going to get with the black chick. He's going to get with the chick that looks like his mom. Flat out. What is his son going to do? What's your grandson going to do? Going to get with a girl that looks like his mom, that looks like his grandma. That's just the reality of the situation. So over time, it will be drowned out. So even though your daughters will be still fucking with black men, even that's going to eventually trickle out. It's just not going to happen as quickly as it did with your sons. And mind you, your sons carry your last name. Excuse that truck that's driving by. I'm in the parking lot. So that's just the reality of it. So even for me, right, y'all know my stance, I'm open. I understand that if I ever had biracial kids, my whole mindset is different. As a father, as a parent, as a husband, my whole mindset is different compared to me having a family and being married to a black chick. It's a different mentality. So you can't have that mentality, I can marry whoever, and I'm still on the right track in terms of the whole blackness card. I'm sorry, brothers, you're not. And I forgot to add, 60% of my cousins, so my blood, they're biracial. So this is not coming from hatred. These are my cousins. I love them to death. They're biracial. 3 of them, black and Asian. 3 of them, black and white. Actually, 4 of them, excuse me. And they're all way younger, right? But the oldest boy, who's black and Asian, I'm looking at his girlfriends, and it's just not going to pop off. It's just not going to pop off. So our family bloodline, in that direction, to me, is gone. It is what it is. It's gone. After the next generation or the generation after that. It's just a reality. So proceed with caution. That's all it is. It's not about, saying, fuck the woman I love. Who cares what race she is? All I'm saying is your whole mindset. Because I'm on that same tip. But I know that my mindset has to be completely different. In terms of how I raise my kids and what I expect out of them, it's going to be different. And that's just the reality of it. And you have to think past your kids. You have to look past that and look at the kids that they're going to have. And the kids those kids are going to have. And more importantly, who your son is going to get with. My grandma was white or Hispanic. My great-grandma was white or Hispanic. My mom is white or Hispanic. My older brother's girlfriend and wife is white and Hispanic. Like, the trend is going to keep happening. And you can do the math. 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16. There's going to come a point in time, phenotypically, there's no trace amounts of black left. And they're better served being others. Being white or being othered, and they will make that movement. They will make that jump. Because the shit has happened. Not in the black community, but in the Hispanic community, like I said before, I've had this conversation with my boy, who's like the Hispanic version of who we are as black men. He's already talked about it. With the name changing and this, that, and the third, because they figured out, hey, it was easier for me to be considered to be fully white than to look white, in every sense of the word, but have a Mexican last name and so therefore be excluded. I don't fit in either. I don't fit in. So it is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. Maybe, this opens up your eyes. Maybe you're upset. It is what it is. Love to hear what some of y'all have to say. Go from there. Y'all be good. God bless. Let me add this too. I think brothers think that there's going to be like this sort of brown paper bag, blue vein type of black society 2.0. I can understand even the logic behind, at least we're keeping it black. You know, even though we're doing the whole selective breeding in terms of features and skin color, at least you can say they're still black, which is a stupid argument, but nevertheless, it's still an argument. You don't even have all that because we're not selectively breeding. It's drowning out. Eventually, the blackness will drown out to the point where, from a phenotypical standpoint, the shit's not going to be there anymore. It's not being maintained. And after a couple of generations, right, your great-great-grandchildren or whatever are going to find it life more easy going for white. Phenotypically, they look white. The only thing that is, the only trace of their blackness may be through, let's say, their name. You know, maybe if they're African or if they have a stereotypically black-sounding name. That is the only trace that's going to be there. So they're going to find that, man, for me, life is easier if I just pass for white. So you're going to see the name change. And like I said, my Hispanic homie, he already put me up on game about this. Mexicans have been in California for the longest. You know, I've dated chicks who've had grandmothers that were born in the United States. So I've heard the stories about, great-great-great-grandchildren who look white, who changed their name because life is easier for them being a white person. And the only thing holding them back, and they're looking like Tom Brady, but like Tom Hernandez. So I'm going to change my name. That shit will happen. But, let me not get back to what I already said. The last point I want to make, too, I know I got some black women out there on some like, see, and this is why brothers is doing this, and this is why brothers are foolish and brothers aren't getting it. Listen, I don't put all this stock on the whole, this is why you should value black women because we're the only ones that can give you black kids. If the mentality is not there, it doesn't matter. So spare me on that sort of, see, we can only give you black kids, but the mentality. Part of the problem is that the mentality is off. So I place no value in the whole black womb if the mentality doesn't match. There's no shortage of black kids who are fully black. There's no shortage of that. But there's a shortage of black boys and girls, black babies who have the right mentality that is given to them through their father and through their mother. So if you as a black woman don't have the mentality that is desired or needed, the fact that you can produce black kids for me is irrelevant because it's all or nothing. Because I hate the sort of, hey, look at me, I'm of value because I can give you black kids. Like, God gave you that ability. You can't turn that off. You don't control that. You were born black, I was born black, so if we fucking have a kid, they're going to be black. So you're not really doing much on that front. If the mentality is off, the fact that you can give me black kids is irrelevant. Indian men or minority, your model minority groups aren't on some like, we value our women because, you can give me Persian babies. You can give me Asian or Indian babies or whatever. If the mentality is fucked up, it doesn't matter. If you don't embody the qualities that should go along with the race, you're worthless in my eyes. And that's just, really what it is. So I just really had to put that in there because I know what's going to happen. Yep, see, this is what it is. Brothers think you can just move on from black women. You can't. You need us to produce black kids. True. But it's meaningless, once again, if there's no mentality because there's no shortage of fully black boys and fully black girls. But their mentalities aren't where it needs to be. So I just have to add that. Now I'm finally done. Y'all take it easy. God bless.